we're so inspired by him doing the Lord's work every single day, not having an excuse, always making resources, always making a way. And we want to share this person with you. There's been some quite amazing testimonies. Not only the Muslim giving his life to Christ, but in September we were able to. It was very spontaneous. I think it was a Tuesday. Chris actually texted me and was like, "Hey, they got some websites. It's 50% off. Maybe you should take care of that for us." And after I read the text, I don't know how you guys hear from the Lord, but for me, it's you don't know when it's coming. It's just instant. And when I don't know how to explain it other than what I can say. It's just like a download. Like you have knowledge and you better do it. Not like or else, but it's like if the Lord asks me to do something and if I don't do it, I'm gonna really feel crunchy for the next few months. Yeah. So I think that I'm gonna do it. So anyways, Chris texts me. He's like, "Hey, website are 50% off right now. Maybe you should check into that." I put my phone away and the Lord said, "It's time for you to build a website and to purchase it now for Namuteza." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Namuteza International House of Prayer." And I said, "Okay." So
Well,
literally I was, yeah.
Let's go back 1 month, because before the website and something that kind of was another fuel of the fire was in, what month are we in now? August, right? That was, oh, I'm sorry. This is September. August is when they moved. September is when they're out and starting to feed children. So I tell you guys how cool this is. And if you have a heart to serve and you want to serve overseas, we do have mission trips coming up. But if you aren't, fully invested in flying overseas, you can help from right where you are. And all it took was one conversation with Patrick and his wife and one conversation with my mom. And they both shared the desire of, we want to feed people. We want to feed kids, right? And just those two conversations immediately sparked, okay, how can we make this happen? And we bought the food, and, Patrick and his wife, they go door to door every day. So they said, hey, on Sunday, this is what's happening. Come by. We're going to have a small service. And in the matter of a couple of weeks, 4 weeks, by the fourth Sunday, they were feeding hundreds of kids.
Yeah, it was the third. Actually, third. Yeah, I have it listed in the computer, and you guys want to check it out. It's gonna be in the documentary. It'll be titled Third Sunday, but it was I believe it was 140 people altogether.
Yeah. By the third Sunday, there's lines and lines of kids outside, and you guys see some of that footage in the previous episode. Make sure you go check that out. But I mean, that was another thing, right? So all that's happening, and we have no website. We have no, what do you call it?
That's right. No Facebook page.
Nothing.
And he's having 3 Sundays, and they're outstanding. There's not even a website created yet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then after that, the Lord put that on my heart. I took care of it. And then he said create a Facebook page to go along with everything. And I said, okay. Guys, it's no big deal for you to create a Facebook page. Get to it. Go to YouTube and figure it out, okay? Because it's 2020. If you don't know how to put a website together, then sit down and start, because you're going to learn and you'll know how to do it within, a few minutes. Go to YouTube and check it out. You can go to Wix and make your own website. So anyways, we make him a Facebook page. I'm not going to lie to you. It's unbelievable. Within the first week, he had over 100 likes on his Facebook page. He had over 100 views on his live videos of ministry. One of the first videos was Power of Forgiveness. He's teaching with his wife, and they're not only reaching out and speaking live to people in Uganda. This is now an international ministry, because the minute the Lord said, name Namuteza International House of Prayer and build him a website and Facebook, when he went online, he became international. Because he's not, and I'm telling you guys, you got to check it out. He's not only, because how many people in Uganda actually have phones, He's not actually, always talking, ministering to people there in Uganda. We're talking about they are greeting people in Asia, Australia, Kenya, Canada, Ohio, Rhode Island, Florida. They're friends of the United States. Come on. Come on. We're telling you guys right now, we met this man in May, and in September, 4 months later, he's got a website and he's got over 100 likes. He's got over 100 views. What's the reason for the success? I'll tell you, he just did it. So if you're not just doing it, you got to get out there right now. You got to just do it. That's one thing he
Yeah.
inspires me every day, Chris, is that he just keeps on going.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that, we're talking about somebody, folks, that don't have a car. Is that your excuse?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Man,
he walks for miles,
every day
miles,
in
and
dress shoes.
miles, and miles.
He don't have
Yeah.
hiking shoes.
Not in comfy, running shoes or anything like that with some nice Dr. Scholl's at the bottom. These are straight dress shoes.
There was a lady in church, and they were praying for her, and I believe she actually had a disease,
Oh, I love this story.
right?
Yeah, Goretti, love this story. And I love telling it because people's eyes just light up and you just see all the bumps popping up on their skin. But this is real stuff, you know. So Goretti was someone that Patrick and Jane met when they were preaching door to door, and she was very sick at the time. Um, Her faith was kind of lacking just because of all the hardships that she was going through, and they prayed for her and just tried to restore her faith. And she recommitted her life when they prayed for her, and they said, "Hey, look, we've prayed for you, and we believe that you're healed." So at the time, she was HIV positive, and yeah, they prayed for her and said, "Hey, you're committing your life. We've prayed for you. We believe that you're healed. So believe in your heart too that you're healed." And I remember Jane remembers Scaretti very distinctly. When she was first telling me about this story, she said, "Yeah, I remember this lady a month ago. We met her." So 4 weeks later, you guys, Goretti comes and uh, they pray over her again and they feed her and give her a meal. And you guys, she tested negative for HIV.
Yeah, she went to the hospital.
Not once, twice. And she has medical records to show. I mean,
Come on.
I got bumps right now.
Come on.
I got bumps right now just sharing that.
Power of Jesus Christ.
I'm at a loss for words when I tell that story.
When's the last time you guys heard someone being cured from a disease like that? Nothing is too impossible for God. Nothing.
That's right. That's right. And then there's a story. This is all in the same month. This is all in the month of September we're still in.
Yeah.
And
Feeding
these
hundreds
are
of
just a
people.
few stories, right? This is not everything. If we told you everything, we'd be here all day. Probably till next month. But there's a story of baby Paul who suffered from tremors, and they thought that the doctors claimed he had cerebral palsy, and they were telling his mother, he'd never be able to eat properly or use his muscles in the correct way, and he couldn't really close his mouth because his jaw would just tremble and shake, so he had a hard time eating. And so Patrick met with his mom and prayed with his mom and prayed over the baby, and the baby was healed.
That's right.
No more tremors, no more shaking. He was able to eat properly.
Baby Paul,
Baby Paul, healed.
who will be in the documentary.
That's right. That's right. Baby
Documentary
Paul.
coming soon.
Yeah, I love those stories.
Unbelievable. We're talking about babies being healed, adults being healed, hundreds of children being fed every Sunday throughout September, October, now in November.
Now in November. And you met Patrick in what month again?
May. We're talking about a man with his wife at the age of 26 with a child less than 3 years old, and they're feeding over 100 people. They literally have to make the rice, make the things they're going to, and then they have to carry it a
They have to
distance.
carry it. Oh, you know something? And I keep talking about this book, and I encourage anyone who hasn't read it or heard of this story to read it. It's called Kisses from Katie, and it talks about a young lady who serves as a missionary over in Uganda. Super awesome story. But she, in the story, she talks about her experience living there. And this is also important to note, too, because if you're not familiar with what it's like to live outside of the U.S. in this comfortable place that we live in, listen, there's no such thing. First of all, if you don't have a car, you're walking everywhere unless you have money to. Their taxis are motorcycles. So they get on the back of the motorcycle, and that's their form of a taxi. Um, there's no supermarket. It's not like you go to. We have here Publix. Some people shop right. Whatever supermarket you have, Walmart, you don't go there and look at the shelves and say, "Oh, I'm gonna cook black beans today," and you buy a couple cans of black beans. This is like from the ground, fresh. You've got to soak it for hours. It has
Yeah.
to cook for hours. So think about all of the preparation that goes into feeding hundreds of people. It takes a lot of effort. Not only do you have to buy all the material, you have to haul it all the way home, then you have to prepare it, then you have to cook it. Oh, and then you have to carry it. So just think about all of the labor that goes into making this happen.
What happens when it starts raining? You don't stop. We got video. You're going to see it in the documentary. Make sure you check it out. Namuteza is feeding children in the rain. When's the last
Yeah.
time you dropped everything, went to go and serve some children? Literally got them in a line, serving them like they're at the Golden Corral. Beautiful.
Yeah, they're eating in the rain and they have to hide in these little, I don't know what you call them. They're like these little tubes, and the kids are kind of crouched down in
Oh
there
yeah, the
eating.
concrete pipes. Yeah,
Yeah,
for they're in they're getting ready for land development. You'll see the pictures. It's beautiful.
yeah,
I love how the kids crawl in there to get the shade.
yeah,
Smart. Got the concrete barrier from the sun. Yeah, but until you guys look at the video, look at the photos, it's hard to really experience and imagine what we're talking about. This is a
yeah,
place where red roads. There's no highways. There's no asphalt. There's no real road there in Uganda. Um, and they're just like us. I mean, Andy doesn't. He went to high school. He actually went to Grace High School. Who would have thought? So here they are. They're feeding hundreds of people. They're doing this stuff outside. It's raining, and he's doing his best bringing people to his home, because I believe in John, I think it's John 14. Jesus talks about, it's best to invite those who cannot repay you and have a banquet with them in your own home.
mm,
So Namuteza was doing this literally a lot.
mm.
Um, Very often that his neighbors were getting, we're in the middle of this pandemic, the one that starts with the C. And the neighbors are like, "Hey, there's not supposed to be more than 10 people." And I don't know, he probably had 20 people over at his house. He might not even know some of these people. He's just doing as we were taught to do and as Jesus told us.
Yeah,
And anyways, his neighbors are causing a little too much of a wreck, and we took that as a sign, as, hey, it's all good. This is a sign of growth.
yeah, yeah,
Chris said it's time to stretch.
yeah. The funny thing is, we were going through that, and I think this applies to, you can apply it to other aspects of your life when you're faced with a situation that makes you uncomfortable. Um, like Marshall mentions in his vision video, how are you going to react to it? So for me, my reaction wasn't a panic. I wasn't like, oh no, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna keep feeding these people? I was just like, oh, that just means it's time to grow.
Right. You responded. You created.
Yeah, I said, oh, that just means it's time to grow.
Yeah.
That just means
Your time to grow.
we're elevating. Like, what's next, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it was. What was next? We found a place.